How small can a Minecraft base be? That is a question that I hope to answer by the end of today's redstone video, because we're going to be trying our best to build the smallest base in Minecraft 1.14. This is how big I want it to be. So we've got a 4x4 area. It's a crawl space. There's going to be plenty of redstone going on underneath this thing, but the actual usable area is this space right here. Let's see if we can pull it off. So part number one is, of course, getting ourselves down into the crawling position so that we can actually access this thing. But I also thought we should decorate it a tiny bit because it looks a little bit like a prison block right now by adding in a few of these wild berry bushes. I just really like the way that they look. Now, we have a bit of a situation when it comes to the bed, because if we die, we're not going to respawn here due to the fact that this is a crawl space and Minecraft still sees this as an illegitimate respawning location. So I think we're going to have to get creative. I think we're going to have some form of trapdoor in the ceiling here. And then we're also going to have to create a kind of pop-upable floor. So this will stay down like this at all times. And that means that we can actually respawn here because this is a too high area. And then I guess we'll have to add in some form of lever type thing. So then if we give this a go, so we pop up this block. And then we hit the button, jump, and yeah, we're crawling. Okay, that's the only way that we're going to be able to do it. And I've just given it a test by killing myself, and it all seems to be working perfectly. So, the next thing that I want to work on is the storage system, and obviously we can't just have a single chest in our base, because that's totally ridiculous. We're going to have more items than that, so I thought we could do a cycling shulker box storage system. So we're going to have a bunch of different shulker boxes stored up, and we are going to be able to cycle through them at the press of a button. At least that's the plan. We don't have much space here. And I also might actually have a slightly better plan. What if we went for a system where we have access to a barrel that has all of our shulker boxes on the inside? When we spot a shulker box that we want, we just throw it out. The system then picks it up, dispense it, we have access to those items, and when we hit the button, it gets sent back up into this barrel, allowing us to choose something else from our massive storage system, because this would be a big storage system. That's what, 27 single chests? Okay, I think I've got part one completed, which is our automatic dispensing, and that is working rather nicely. Now all we need is the pickup system. So when we hit this button, obviously the shulker box gets broken, and it gets put inside this bottom dropper right here. But then we need to send that shulker box back up into the barrel so that we can pull it out again to do the same thing. Oh, you may have noticed I've actually removed the roof. It was driving me insane. Of course, it will go back on once we're finished building, but building while you're crawling is a bit of a nightmare. Anyway, inside this barrel right here, I have got 9 different shulker boxes, all for different types of items. Now obviously this is just an example, so none of these shulker boxes actually have any items on the inside, but you can see how this storage system would begin to work. So say for example we need ourselves some diamonds, we just chuck that out and we have access to our diamonds chest. And then if we just hit this button, it will all be sent back up into the system. And now we want some building blocks. Cool. It gets sent back up. We need some wood. It gets sent back. I love this thing. That is so cool. And as I say, we've got 27 slots for 27 independent shulker boxes. What more could you need? Now, back in the olden days, life used to be simple and we only had one type of furnace. But now we're in Minecraft 1.14, we have got 3 different types of furnace that are actually useful. So I think the smoker can probably go there. We can have the blast furnace down there, and then we can have our regular furnace right there. So we have access to all of them. Now I'm leaving this gap because this is going to be our crafting bench hole. But just like the furnaces in Minecraft 1.14, our types of crafting bench have multiplied, so we're going to have to do something about that. And as per usual, I am overcomplicating things. So what I thought we could do is choose between the crafting bench and the stone cutter, and I want them to actually pop up like this. And that's more complicated than you'd think, because we need a double piston extender, and then we also need the block swappers. Well, this is actually quite a solid start. So I have dug out a very old block swapper design, very, very old, from way back in the early days of my YouTube channel, and it still seems to function. So now all we have to do is the double extender retraction, then fire this circuit, and then the re-extension. Which, I gotta say, did end up being a bit of a mess, because there's kind of redstone lines all over the place. There's definitely more compact ways of doing this thing, but I think it should work. So if we pop up to the top here and hit this button, our stone cutter should drop down, then the crafting bench swaps, and then there it is. And then when we hit the button again, it should swap in the opposite direction. This is awesome. It's been so long since I've built any form of crafting bench swappers or hidden crafting benches, and that's a mistake because they're the best things ever. I was looking for spots for the anvil to go, and I gotta say I think under the bed is the best place. I mean, that's where you store all the things that you occasionally need, isn't it? That's what I do, it's all chucked underneath the bed, so it seems perfectly fitting. And also, I suppose, what's the other one? Is it a grindstone? A grindstone, we can have that down there too. So that allows me to disenchant things. I don't know why you'd need that, but we'll put it in. We are now running comically low on space. This 2x2 area right here is all that we've got left in our base, and I'm actually going to fill half of it with barrels. You see, this storage system that we have here is great for items that we don't have crazy amounts of, but for things like stone, cobblestone and dirt and all that, it falls a little bit short. So I'm going to have a bulk storage solution, and then also we don't have a food solution in our base just yet, so that is what this barrel is going to be for. This is where things begin to get near on impossible. What I'm trying to do here is I want to create a shulker box filler that then sends full shulker boxes up into this barrel here. So we're going to put all of our cobblestone and all the things that we want in this barrel here. They will then be loaded up into a shulker box, so they'll be automatically shulker box loaded, and then they'll be sent back up into this barrel, which is going to be filled with full shulker boxes. But boy oh boy, is it getting tight down here. But despite its absolutely minuscule size, I think we might have actually managed to make this work. Amazing, look at this. It is an absolute nightmare. So we've got empty shulker boxes down here. If I place in a shulker box here, and I fill it up almost all the way with stone. Let's go right the way up to here, and you know what? I'm even going to add this much. So we have 16 left until this shulker box is filled. Then we go up to the top, and we place 16 stone into the system. Now we wait. We should see... Yes! There it is! So there is our filled shulker box up in our barrel, and then if we pop down to the bottom here, we can see that we actually have a fresh shulker box which has just been dispensed outwards. So that means that if we put more stone into the system, say for example this amount here, you can see that stone is flowing through the hoppers. I can't actually open the shulker box because it opens into the hopper, but if we just grab it, you can see that it has got stone on the inside, so it is filling up. So we have got storage for how many items here? 1,728 stone blocks just inside that barrel, right there. That is bulk storage completed in a base that is the size of my thumbnail. And by that, of course, I do mean my actual physical thumbnail, not like a computer thumbnail or anything, because I'm using 4K screens and they're pretty big, so my thumbnails are actually quite large. Anyway, I have actually made a modification to the system to make it work with other types of items other than stone, so we can chuck cobblestone, dirt, everything like that into this system, and it will be stored in bulk inside this barrel, inside filled shulker boxes. Perfect. Now, I definitely feel like I mentioned this earlier on, but in case I didn't, what's going next to it, in the barrel next to our bulk storage barrel, is going to be our food barrel, and that is going to be melons. Yes, we are going to be feeding ourselves with melons because they're a nice, fully automaticable food source. So this area down at the bottom here is going to be for our melon farm. Part 1 has been completed, which is the item elevator, which takes the items from all the way down here up into our little storage barrel, and it was a tiny bit complicated because space isn't exactly our friend at this point in time, so I had to do some pretty smart stuff, and the way that it works is it actually sends the items in bulk. So if we start chucking some melons into this thing, you'll see that the system doesn't really do anything, doesn't do anything until eventually it does, and that's when it starts sending a batch of melons up into this storage barrel here. So you can see them coming through. You can't hear anything because that's always really annoying about drop elevators. They tend to tick, but this one's completely silent. And there we go. There is our batch of melons arriving. So every time our little melon farm actually produces a decent number of melons, they will then be sent up in bulk. Now for the actual farm itself, we're not going to do anything too crazy. It's just going to be a fairly simple observer on stem farm. And it should just about do it. So here is the little farm itself, complete with 4 stems. I mean, it's not going to be the most efficient thing in the world, but it should give you a decent supply of food. And as soon as a melon grows, as you just saw right there, it will be broken and it will be put into the hoppers. Wow, this thing really is working quickly. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is my smallest base in Minecraft 1.14 all completed. And I've got to say, it's a bit like an iceberg in that the bit that's exposed and you can see is pretty small. But then if you just go beneath the surface, you can see that actually, yeah, it's pretty substantial. I absolutely love this build though. It is seriously, seriously cool. I mean, you really do have everything that you need to survive in here. We've got all the different types of furnaces. We've got crafting bench and stone cutter swappers, so you can go between those. We've got bulk storage that works on shulker box loading systems underneath the ground. We've also got a fully functional melon farm that allows us to eat. And we've got a fully functional bed, which is actually more difficult than you'd expect in a base that's this high. We also have access to anvils and also the grindstone. We have got a full storage system with room for 27 independent shulker boxes for all different types of items. And it's accessible just by throwing down the item. You get your shulker box. When you want to put it back in the barrel, you hit the button and it goes back up there. It's smart. It's also smart. It's also accessible. I love this thing. I genuinely think this might be one of my favorite redstone builds, and I know I say that almost every single redstone video, but I truly mean it for this one. But anyway, I really do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. This looks hilarious. One.